What's up guys, my name is Ace, and now that we're getting toward the end of the realistic life cycle for Modern Warfare 3, it's time to start looking back at a lot of things. And one of the big things that really caught my eye looking back with Modern Warfare 3 is the insane amount of content that we have access to in this game, even if you exclude the carry forward content from Modern Warfare 2. And I kind of wanted to do a recap of that to show you guys just how much content we actually got this year, because it turns out this was actually the biggest year ever in the Call of Duty franchise when it comes to post-launch playable content for 6v6. That is going to be the primary focus for this. We're not talking about Warzone, not getting into the other modes like 2v2 or Ground War. My main focus here has always been 6v6. So that's really what I'm interested in. Of course, you could make arguments talking about the other modes as well, but this is just my main focus today. So let's just dive right into this, and we'll start it off with a map, since this was a big part of this. And at launch, I created a graph here showing the remade versus brand new original 6v6 maps that we're seeing in each of the games at launch. And obviously in the earlier days, there were no remade maps at launch. You might have had the odd one sprinkled in here or there post-launch, but at launch, it was all brand new. And then Modern Warfare 3 is a huge outlier here because it's the only mainline regular Call of Duty game that's not a remaster that featured nothing but remade maps at launch. We had all of the original 16 maps from the original Modern Warfare 2. And that's the first time we've seen anything like that before. However, at least the quantity of maps was pretty solid for launch compared to many of the recent Call of Duty games, especially like Modern Warfare 2019 and Cold War. They both did really bad when it came to 6v6 maps at launch. But of course, since there were no original maps here, I could also see that as being a big negative for Modern Warfare 3 for many people. And I also want to point out, with this particular chart, I did throw in Black Ops 6. Even though it hasn't launched yet, we do know that we're getting 12 brand new 6v6 maps at launch. So I just thought I'd throw it in so you guys can see how it stacks up compared to some recent years. But overall, just looking at launch, Modern Warfare 3 wasn't really a huge standout or anything, and especially with those remade maps, many people were not too happy with that. However, it's really the post-launch content where Modern Warfare 3 stands out quite a bit. So let's have a look at the graph of that. This is showing the total number of 6v6 maps that are available, including post-launch content, although it does exclude variant maps. So maps that are just a reskin of something that's already in that particular game. And as we can see here, this is where Modern Warfare 3 really shoots ahead. This is a huge outlier for the Call of Duty franchise. We have over 40 unique maps in 6v6. Which is completely unheard of. Even some of the biggest 6v6 map counts we've ever seen back in the golden age of Call of Duty, they were just barely breaking 30 when it came to their map count. And Modern Warfare 3 is in the 40s. Now, a big thing to keep in mind with this though, is the distribution between remade versus new maps. Obviously, with Modern Warfare 3, since it launched with 16 remade maps, that's going to make up a huge chunk of their maps. Also, they did add more remade maps as time went on throughout the post-launch seasons, including a few carry-forward maps from the previous game, Modern Warfare 2. Those are included in the total remade map count. But overall, post-launch, we did tend to see more new original maps than remade maps over time, but not enough to overtake the total number of remade maps in the game. So while this does have by far the highest map count that we've ever seen in Call of Duty for 6v6, it's also the only one of these Call of Duty games that has more remade maps than new original maps. So that's definitely interesting. However, something I still haven't included yet are variant maps. So maps that are exactly the same as an existing map in that particular game, but with just a different skin on it. And Modern Warfare 3 also did way more of these than we've ever seen in the past with Call of Duty. Keeping in mind, I may have missed the odd one here or there if it was like a seasonal thing where it just showed up for a limited period of time and then disappeared. It's possible I missed a couple in some of those older CODs. But here is the chart, and as we can see with Modern Warfare 3, this pushes our total 6v6 map count over 60, which is totally overkill, absolutely insane. Personally, I wasn't a massive fan of the variants. Like, I don't mind the odd event variant map that's like seasonal or specific to a certain holiday that's going on, like a Christmas version or Halloween version of a map. I think that's totally cool and fine. I think outside of that, they went a little bit overboard with that in Modern Warfare 3. And for a good period of time, it was also diluting the map pool and kind of messing with that map rotation. Although they did eventually get on top of that, and at least in quick play, they have separated those variant maps into their own unique playlist, and they won't show up in the regular quick play rotation. So it's good to see they got on top of that, but I will say I actually considered this to be a negative for a decent portion of this game's life cycle. I didn't like most of these variants, but that's just my opinion, of course. I know for many of you guys, you actually enjoyed those quite a bit. And this really just goes to show how insane the map count was for 6v6 in this game compared to previous Call of Duty games. There isn't a Call of Duty game that's even come close to this. And that's just talking about maps. Another big element here to consider when we're talking about playable content, this is our total weapon count. So let's start going through these. Keeping in mind, I did exclude melee weapons in this just to keep things kind of simple, and I don't think it's really a fair comparison with some games that have tons of different melee variants. In a realistic sense, for most players, that doesn't really provide an accurate indication of what the weapon variety and weapon count was actually like in the game, so that's why I decided to exclude those. And at launch, at least, this is what it looked like. Keeping in mind with Modern Warfare 3, this is excluding the carry-forward weapons from Modern Warfare 2. And as you can see, there's actually been quite a bit of variance since Call of Duty 4 as far as our weapon count at launch. Like in some of the early days, we were only seeing about 27 total launch weapons, whereas the peak here was Modern Warfare 2 last year with 46 weapons at launch. Whereas this year, with Modern Warfare 3, it definitely wasn't a standout here when it came to its own unique weapons at launch. It was pretty much average for the Call of Duty franchise here, which is pretty impressive considering the fact that we also had the carry forward, and this is what it looks like if you do include the Modern Warfare 2 weapons at launch in Modern Warfare 3. So that immediately shoots it way above the rest. But of course, a lot of people wouldn't call that a fair comparison, and I think that's fair to say, especially since most of the Modern Warfare 2 guns at launch for Modern Warfare 3 were pretty useless. They were quite a bit worse than the Modern Warfare 3 guns. So for now, let's exclude those carry forward guns, and we'll move on to the next section, and this is total weapon count, including post-launch weapons up until this point. And I've also included conversions here. So in the case of Modern Warfare 3, this is typically in the form of aftermarket parts. In Black Ops 4, we had operator mods. In Modern Warfare 2019, we just had certain attachments that would effectively convert the gun into something different. Now with this, I consider a conversion to be something that noticeably converts the gun and makes it feel like its own unique gun. So it's something that will change the damage or your rate of fire or maybe your fire type entirely. Not just a unique attachment that noticeably increases your damage range, for instance. Also, in the conversions for Modern Warfare 3, I was including the aftermarket parts on Modern Warfare 2 guns, since they are unique to Modern Warfare 3. It's not like you can use those in Modern Warfare 2. But as you can see here, if we consider those as well as essentially unique guns, Modern Warfare 3 shoots noticeably ahead of every other Call of Duty game out there, and we're almost at 100 effectively unique guns in the game, without the Modern Warfare 2 carry forward. And just for fun, let's throw the carry forward in there, and holy crap, there's a lot of usable guns in this game, especially now that many of the Modern Warfare 2 guns have been buffed to the point where they're very viable in Modern Warfare 3. There's still several that are pretty terrible, but most of them, I would say, are at least viable now. And with this, we're looking at 165 effectively unique weapons that you have access to in Modern Warfare 3, which is absolutely insane. For some people, this is actually a negative. This is just way too overwhelming, and I could understand that. If you're somebody that's super casual, or you got into the game really late, maybe you didn't even play Modern Warfare 2, leveling up all those guns and unlocking all those aftermarket parts, that must be a very daunting task. But of course, for many others out there, there's no such thing as too much when it comes to weapon count. And this is a really good thing for them because there's just so many different weapons you can use in the game, and so many options for different playstyles surrounding those weapons. And there we go. That is going to wrap it up for today's video. This is just something that's been on my mind. Like, I knew Modern Warfare 3 had more post-launch content than we'd ever seen before in franchise history. And that's what really sparked the idea for this video, but I was actually blown away seeing it actually graphed out how insane the amount of content was this time around with Modern Warfare 3, even when you don't consider the Modern Warfare 2 carry forward. That was the part that surprised me. Even if you take carry forward out of the equation, Modern Warfare 3 is still on top when it comes to total playable content throughout the year. And with that, this is where I'm curious to hear from you guys in those comments down below. When it comes to 6v6 content in Modern Warfare 3, how do you feel about this? Were you guys surprised to see just how much content we've had in this game throughout the year? Or were you fully aware that we've been spoiled quite heavily for 6v6? Just let me know down below. If you enjoyed this video, a like rating is always appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.